This is the #1 tip for creating creamy smooth, buttery, gorgeous motion time-lapse out of your Canon G7x. This is the Mark II, and I picked this up for around $200 US. That's about 350 Australian dollars, and it is like brand new. You're here because you want to really level up your game and learn how to create these buttery smooth, absolutely creamy, gorgeous motion time lapses that you can put into your content creation. The Canon G7x is an amazing little camera. I am blown away with this. These tips today may work with other cameras as well. Because this is a relatively inexpensive camera, there is no provision for an intervalometer. Firstly, you need a way to hold down the shutter button, and I have found that this kind of little bungee cord, and this is a cable management thing that I picked up, but it seems to work really, really well. In a pinch, I have used a rubber band too. So with this, all we need to do is feed it through, just gently, feed it through behind the screen, and I then tighten that up, give it a little bit of a tweak, and that will hold down your shutter button perfectly. I've added a little tiny piece of felt and cut a groove into that just to help it to locate a little bit better. And I found that this works really, really well. You could use tape. I have used a rubber band in the past. It seems to work quite well. Another thing you want to do is just make sure that the camera is rock steady and it's not going to move at all. Ideally, you want to be using a tripod, and I really highly recommend the Mkii tripod. It's a magnesium alloy tripod, inexpensive, super versatile, nice and light, has a Arca Swiss style plate for connection, ball head. It's great. It is a fabulous tripod, but that's not what this video is about. If you want to know more about the tripod, let me know and I'll make a video on that. We need to be able to capture multiple frames and create something with a bit more control that you have over your images. Typically, Canon provide a time-lapse feature here. The ISO is automatically set. The shutter speed is automatically set. You only get to choose the number of photos and the time between those photos. And then the camera automatically stitches that together as a 1080p time-lapse video for you. I use JPEGs. RAW, you could use RAW, but JPEGs work quite well. Now, when you take control of taking your own photographs, then you can set the shutter speed. And I found typically a shutter speed between 0.5 and 2 seconds creates an amazing effect. Most owners of the Canon G7x do not know this tip, but I'm going to teach you how to create fluid, fantastic, creamy, smooth motion time-lapse with your Canon G7x. As you know, the Canon G7x is one of the most popular cameras for content creators today. When I create my time-lapse videos, I shoot in JPEG. The benefit of that is getting away from the automatic settings that are on the Canon G7x that provides a video at 1080p, unless you've got the Mark III, it'll do 4K video. Each JPEG photo has a resolution of around 5.5K, and that allows for additional flexibility and creative flair in the edit. For best results, I shoot in shutter priority. That way I can choose my shutter speed being 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2 seconds, or even longer if you wanted to really play around with the effect. The bonus with this camera is that it has built-in ND filters. So the ND filter allows you to really open up that shutter time. So a shutter speed of 0.5 of a second, 1 second, 2 seconds isn't going to blow out your image. When putting on the bungee, you're going to sacrifice a few frames at the start and a few frames at the end. That's unavoidable. You can take those out in the edit very, very easily. Typically, for a motion time-lapse, you want to capture anywhere from, say, 400 frames to around 800 frames. Now, depending on which region you're in the world, whether your TVs are set to 24 frames a second, that's really 23.93, or 30 frames a second, will determine how you do the next bit. Typically a good motion time-lapse is around 15 to 20 seconds. This way you've got enough video there to take the juicy part out and drop it into your main content. Once you have your images, you're ready to process these. This can be done in Photoshop by importing an image sequence, and that will stitch that video together for you, all done in Photoshop. You do have limited control with cropping, with some framing. You can adjust the images. Final Cut Pro will allow you to import images as well. What I found that works perfectly is if you take all of those images, you drop them into the timeline and you do a duration change. Each photo takes about 3 frames, and then that you can convert into a compound clip inside Final Cut Pro. To add further interest to your motion time-lapse, you could employ other effects, things like a pan left or a pan right. You can also do a very subtle zoom in, zoom out. The Canon G7x is more than capable for YouTubers and content creators to really level up their cinematic time-lapse creation to help you tell your story through video. If this video helped you, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, or share this with someone who may get value from this information. I'm Darren, I'm Creator 61 with my tools, toys, tips and tactics to help you improve your video making skills each and every day.